the Detroit Lions, surprisingly enough, made the playoffs. And they were carried by Matt Stafford, who some would argue would be an MVP. But when I look at their team, they still have plenty of work to do. Obviously, a top free agent would be Le'Veon Bell. It's highly unlikely, but that's a guy that they should bid for. Another guy would be Logan Ryan from the New England Patriots. I think he would be a good acquisition because I believe one of their executives used to be the former executive of the New England Patriots, and obviously he will be familiar with Logan Ryan, and that will bring in some depth at cornerback. Now, when it comes to Eziekel Ansah, they should definitely keep him. I think there's going to be a lot of teams interested in him, and a lot of playoff teams definitely that. And he's definitely going to be a guy to keep because if you look at the Packers, you really need to get to run. Obviously, the Detroit Lions need a lot of depth. They need a lot of O-line help. They need some front seven help. And also they need some receiver help here and there. I think that they should re-sign Anquan Bolden, but I think there is some good receivers in this draft that they could go after. I look at Golden Tate. Golden Tate's fine. I think he's fine there. Obviously, Marvin Jones, I think he can bring a lot in the slot receiver position. And Anquan Bolden had an impressive season. I think that's definitely a guy that they should possibly just re-sign if they don't draft any receivers. But there's definitely some receivers in this draft where they can get just that balance almost. And even though Matt Stafford did better without Calvin Johnson, I think that if they just add another, just a good wide receiver right there that could basically still play, has years ahead of them, would be good. It'd be a good long term. Now, when it comes to tight end, I think that they could. There's definitely some tight ends later on in the draft, but I think they could wait till the second round for that. And free agency, I guess they could go after Martellus Bennett, but he's a little bit up there in age. And I think it would be better if they get a tight end to develop, possibly, and all of that. And maybe a guy in free agency they might be interested in is Austin Severian Jenkins. That could be a guy they could bring in, just maybe possibly be in the starting role. Now, when it comes to the running game, obviously Zach Center had some success, and obviously Theo Rake was a good running back that year. But obviously they're not. You need someone to really get on the ground and really run hard. I think Leonard Fournette would be a good guy to look at. Definitely good. Definitely kind of reminds me of Brandon Jacobs, and also maybe Calvin Jones, just as a guy who can just solidly get some yards here and there, build some consistency on the ground game, like they already do with the passing game, pretty much. Overall, the Detroit Lions, I still think they have plenty of moves to do because they made the playoffs with 9-7, and whenever their players started to get injured, they really fell down the stretch. And I know they lost the good teams. They lost the Seahawks, Packers, and Cowboys, but that's the issue with the Lions. They're going to have to build that roster up. And the idea about making the playoffs, still think that they're still a fairly attractive team to go after. I look at Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford was probably the most underrated quarterback this season. And no one paid attention to him. Like character-wise, he improved significantly. He's not the same Matt Stafford yesteryear. All right, this guy's competing, and so this guy will probably want to compete for something one day, and maybe by the end of this decade, he might have been in an NFC conference game, hell, maybe in the Super Bowl. Who knows? I'm really high on Matt Stafford. Now, obviously, I think defense is still a key factor there. When I look at special teams, they're one of the better special teams unit when it comes to scoring. They have Zach Martin, then who's a good punter, and then they got Matt Prater, who had a very good season as a kicker, and then you have Andre Roberts. In my opinion, is the best return in the league. So obviously, this team definitely has some appeal there on the special team side. No worry there. But I definitely look at offense and defense, and they definitely need to attack in free agency and in the draft.